bom dia a todos. Good morning to all. Good morning, Thierry.
Good morning, Marco.
Yeah, this is the Innovations for the Future in Crowd Circle. In this circle, we talk about innovations for the future and the projects and people that are doing this great movement in Portugal for regenerative and responsible cultures. Something that are experimenting in these directions. And in the last circle, Thierry, you brought this proposal for us to go and explore. We went with the question, what is innovation for the future? And we explored that question, also with the contribute of Nitzan and Maria Coelho that record their voice about this question. And you propose that we go with what goes next, what we as a collective really want to embrace for the next future and what could be our action. And let's go exploring with that. My proposal is for we to do a check-in, a brief check-in, and go exploring this question. Thank you.
Okay.
I go with the check-in. My energy is low today. I'm in a week that I have been sick and most of the time in bed. It's getting better, but I have some signals in my nose and in my throat, also in my gut. And I have a sensation about the innovations for the future in these last 2 weeks with this new energy, with these new formats like the interviews, the resourcing sessions, and now the circle. I'm getting a sense, my joy is coming back about the innovations for the future. I'm getting a sense of connection and aliveness in the field that in some way start to dissipating, and it's coming back to me again, and I'm enjoying to have this sensitivity, this my joy and aliveness about innovations for the future coming back, and it's me, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, I feel today quite good compared to the days before. And there's also kind of aliveness coming back. And I was just letting go of old still emotions. And yesterday I was joining a session with the ULab. And basically they asked me, okay, in the beginning, what question do you come here with? Then the question came up for me, and that's still alive today, is what's next for me? Basically, I feel kind of in a duality, either just sitting on the fence and being really excited what might go and happen, but unable to get things moving, or go deeper into the silence. And earlier this week, in a coaching circle, I suggested one guy from South Africa, you can just really go in this retreat space, or you can be like a Zen master or Aikido, any kind of these practices. So you're really calm, and at the same time, if things want to happen, you're right there. And somehow it didn't really materialize in me. Maybe I should keep doing my work as I do, but that's basically how I feel right now.
Thank you, Thierry, for your check-in. To explore this question, what's next for the innovations for the future? My question to you is, when you arrived in Portugal, you land in the place and you start connecting with people and projects around. And you are doing that for several years right now. You meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of projects that have this aim of something completely different from what we have in modern culture, this destructive pattern. What are you seeing? What is the patterns that you are seeing in these projects around Portugal and around the projects that you meet and the people that you meet? What are you seeing, and what kind of needs do you perceive in the field, in this social field?
What I see, there are two main things. I can make a long story about it, but one is, for instance, if I look here at the Cooperativa, and also before when I was in next to Tamera, is that a lot of the business models that are used are still from the old world, so to speak. And maybe rightfully so, because people are just surviving in the old world with the prices and the whole economic system. And the other thing, what I clearly saw, I first came to Muji's ashram, ashram monastery, whatever you want to call it, and there the focus was on the inner work. So there was more connectedness, more peace, more space also to listen to each other, if I compared it to Tamera. So I think what I mentioned before, from the big picture, also from the world, like the COP27 and things like that, is we really, in terms of ULAB, we really need to sink now to the bottom of the U. And every time again, when you're not knowing it, you're not knowing it. That's bloody simple. And just be there and accept it, and take that in the process. I try to invite people in Tamera also to join this, but somehow they're in a different mindset. And it's at least what I hope I can bring in.
Thank you, Thierry. It's your time to make a question.
A question that comes up for me is that also just looking at the social field of this innovation, which is, I guess, bigger than only innovations for the future. How do you sense it in Portugal? I mean, you're native here, so you've been here longer. How do you sense it? What's the in different areas of Portugal?
One of the things that, this movement of a next culture thing, or cultures that aim regeneration and life system thinking, is you can find in all the country, from the north and south, in near the sea, near Spain. You can find in the islands. You can find these people all around. My guess is that we are around 1,000 to 2,000 people working in this hedge of the culture. And you have people from arts, you have people from business, you have people from health, from schools, you name it. You have projects in organizations, in municipalities, in communities. You have a little bit of everything in this movement, these experiments that people are doing. And one of the things, maybe the most important thing, I don't know, maybe it's the most important thing, and that the people don't know, don't have the awareness that there is others in this social field. They have this sensation that they are alone. And that continues to be the case. It's less because with the innovations for the future, we start doing this happenings all around the places and connecting people. But I still continue to find people and projects with this sensation of being alone. Like the system right now don't have this ability of turn off the camera and look from himself, see the system from the inside of the system. That is not present in this social field. And that for me, it's a big thing. It's a huge thing. Because if you don't have awareness about yourself, about this system, it's not possible to do anything. You continue with the thing that you are alone, you don't find your neighbor, you don't start co-creating and collaborating. Like using the U model, we continue to be in, we didn't start the observe. We didn't start the first movement. As a collective, we didn't start that. We are starting that. With Innovations for the Future is starting to put the things on the table as observe. Let's observe. Let's start to observe. And let's do learning and sensing journeys to observe, to learn. Yeah, for me, it's we are here. Yes, we need to go together at the bottom of the U and the presencing thing. I don't know. I have the sensation that we are not there yet, that we need to do more work for bring people together, continue to do the learning and sensing journeys, and has some local hubs, like in each BR region, maybe has a local hub, like a small team of people of 3 to 7 people that really try to connect the projects around that bioregion, like the guys in I4F are doing, like the guys here in Odmir and Santiago are doing. Maybe a little bit of that all around the country. My sensation that this work of showing up, of introduce people, connect people, show the projects, it's very important work to do right now. Yeah, that for me, it's the thing that I'm perceiving the space, and I'm very afraid of the system not having self-awareness, because there is a lot of money that will start to arriving from European Union, from private companies, you name it. The thing are there. And if these people are not together, are not starting to be together and start collaborating and co-creating with completely different models, they will lose the opportunity of taking a piece of this money. And the money will go to the greenwashing thing, that is the structures that are already in place for that. And I have this fear and this anger about this. In a sense, it's my urgency. It's what I perceive, it's the urgency. And to do that, we need to do the self-awareness. The system needs to look to himself. Thank you for the question. There is also, when you did your check-in, you talk about this inner work and the necessity of working in myself first, or at the same time, as I'm transforming my outside, as I'm doing a project in my community or wherever. Can you explore a little bit more how this work in myself, in me, is important for changing the culture, changing the patterns, the destructive patterns that we have?
Now, like the first thing is that if we work from the mind, there's from the ego, there's always some kind of duality. So there will always be people who don't understand you, and people who don't get it, and companies that are just greenwashing. And if you're totally established in the heart, that's not there. And yesterday, after actually was interesting, after having this ULab session, where I proposed the question, okay, am I sitting on the fence, or am I just going in a retreat? Very simple. I had a conversation with a small group, and it was a lady from Ireland, and she said basically, you know, there are people who are interested in this kind of approach. You only have to find them. So she put just an invitation out in Ireland, and people showed up. Then afterwards, I read a bit in a book from one of the Indian sages, Ramana Maharshi, and it was about satsang, so basically be together in truth. And what he actually explained is that, I didn't realize that fully, is his most powerful way of teaching, and it's for every teacher, is through silence. And I was just still thinking, okay, I have to explain people about the importance of this approach, of this turning this camera inwards. But basically, what I start to understand from his teachings, the only thing I have to do is just really be able to live it, to embody it, and then it will be a teaching for the people who are ready for it. I mean, it's the most natural thing, but we are all afraid basically to look at ourselves, and that's why we keep projecting on things and trying to grab a crisis to stay busy. And if you don't have a crisis anymore, you can relax. And maybe, you know, at the moment I have some favas and peas lying here. Your job is just simply to put some seeds in the ground and nothing more. And when the circle arrives, the circle arrives. I think that's what I would like to say about it.
Thank you.
When listening before to your explanation in the previous question, I realized what I don't know is how much are these people that you consider like the change makers, how are they connected to the, say, more traditional people in Portugal? I can explain it. In last year, when I was working with Paula, we had a meeting with a Zoom meeting with the mayor of São Martinho das Amoreiras, and basically he made me realize that, you know, we can all talk about permaculture and things like that, but basically what he said, you know, all these old farmers here, they're already doing that for hundreds of years, and maybe a little bit different than what you propose, but there's so much wisdom there. And I see, you know, there's totally different cultures in my country and also here. How much are you connected to these old traditional tradesmen?
There is a lot of these people. I don't know. I estimate that maybe will be near half are foreigners, are people that didn't born in Portugal and came and live here. And as I said in the last conversation, for me, it doesn't matter. If you have your feet in this land, it's your responsibility. It doesn't matter if you born here or you didn't born here. And to have these people that didn't born in Portugal and that have connection with the that don't have connection with the local place, that is an issue. That is an issue. Some of them don't speak the language. Some of the people in the local place don't speak other language than Portuguese. Some places are very close, like in the north and in some areas, it's very hard to rent a house or rent a farm. People don't do that. If don't know you, they don't know you. They don't use imobiliarias, the business that rent places and sell places for putting their properties for renting. They rent as in a personal relation thing. And there is in some parts of the country experiments around that, around bringing foreign and locals together and starting a dialogue around that. Danya is doing a great work in that. You guys did also a great work in São Martin around that, or you start doing that work. And there is some experiments around that question that you put with the traditional agriculture practice. Like Helena Freitas in the Coimbra University, she has a program around that to change the practice of the farmers, and at the same time to call the old practice that the people knew it to do it from traditional way of doing it. Like Mertla, they also do that. Clara Lab in Diogo is trying to bring that wisdom to the table too, and André Vizinho and the people that had Aldeia das Amoreiras, they experiment a lot of that, and there are some recordings and writings about that, about bringing the wisdom of the old methods of not only agriculture, but also other traditional knowledge around the place, or the food, the clothes, and that kind of stuff. Also, the people in the north, in the Serra da Estrela, they are also recovering old methods of working with I don't know what to say, with
wool.
Yeah. It's happening, but it's not enough. Like there is experiments, but it's not spread all over. And it's part of this dialogue between, and also it's very interesting. You are in Algesur, and Algesur has a very interesting story, because the people that are leading Algesur, it's not people that, it's Portuguese, but it's not people that was born in Algesur. Half of the population of Algesur, it's from other parts of Portugal. And that is also a very interesting thing, because there is not only the people that came from abroad, it's also people that move inside the country and create this friction, this social friction inside the places. And there is a lot to heal in some places. There is a lot to heal with people, and it's not a week or a month thing. It's a year thing. Maybe in some cases a generation thing. Like heal social bonds, you heal social issues around several parts of the territory. And for me, that is also part of what means the next cultures. The healing part, it needs to be at the center. Like you talk about the inner work. For me, the inner work also involved the individual trauma and the social trauma, to deal with the individual and the social trauma. Like Otto is also bringing that to the table. And that is a very important work, like the work like guys like Muji is doing, and Pete from Awakened Life Project, and José Sotelinho and Vasco Gaspar. This kind of work that these people are doing is very important. For me, it's not possible to make the shift for the next culture without any proposal. It doesn't mean that we need to go to the shrink. No, it's not that. But we need to come to the center, to circles and to talk about what really our pains, our deep pains. And we have several parts of the country have several different pains. Yeah. And that needs to work. And in that sense, people, it's like you said, man, we need to go to the speed of the heart, like let go of the mind and really open the heart and when you are at the heart level, it doesn't matter if you're born in Switzerland or in Portuguese or in Porto. It doesn't matter. It matters that you are a human being and you are there in that territory and you are committed to do something completely different to that space and to bring future, to has a legacy for the next generations. Yeah, that is happening, but it's not enough. It's not enough. That Mertla really experiments with there was this story about grandfathers and children, and the middle generation, the father of the children, the son of the grandfather, was the ones that changed the practice for industrial agriculture. And they do a project for the grandfathers and the children in school where they teach syntropic agriculture. And when the grandfathers were with the children, they are seeing that practice it's like the ones that they did before. So, okay. And the children go home and say, Daddy, I went to, I put carrots in and I take carrots and all that stuff. And grandfather said that it's like he do it. And the father say, hey, can you say more about that? And the grandfather, yes, the children are learning to do what I learned to do, and you didn't want to do it. It seems that it was this traditional practice that now can solve the problem for our future. And this kind of waking up in the families, and bringing the children and the grandparent and all together and starting this dialogue around it's a very interesting perspective. And the guys in Mertla did that. The guys in Mertla explored that. It's one case. It's one example. Of course, it's important, and if we spread the word, it will influence and inspire others. And it needs to happen more. It needs to happen more. There is this several layers of healing and coming togetherness. The togetherness bright principle is not in the place, and needs to be. It needs to be for the next culture. Thank you for the question. It's really.
Can I say one thing around that?
Go. If you want to explore the same question, go.
What I now basically a couple of weeks ago, I had some Dutch business people coming here, and they were asking basically what's one of the great things that Portugal already has on the table with this transition that we're in. And then I realized part for me is exactly that these old traditions are still alive. And when I first came to Alentejo, I also thought, this is just really third world, and look at these farmers who just do things by hand. Also here, they're just harvesting the sweet potatoes by hand. And then I realized it's kind of the I would say cultural arrogance to look at it from that perspective. And somehow we have to get to this more connection, because food is kind of one of the basic things that we all need. And if you compare Portugal with the Netherlands, I could say basically it's 100% gone in the Netherlands. It's one of the founding countries of the industrial farming, and it's gone. You don't see these old farmers just doing everything by hand. And here you still see that. So somehow I think that's something to just keep on the table.
My question to you is, like how to bridge this this scales, like the scale with myself, what is my next step, what is next to me, and with the scale of this innovation for the future, think this macro scale, what is the next scale of innovations for the future. Maybe we can start talking a little bit about that. What is the next step to me, and how that is connect with the what is in the social field of innovations for the future. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, my I sense we all have a lot in our backpack, a lot of wisdom tools, whatever. So that definitely comes in hand, and it's necessary. And it's no coincidence that we sit here with the two of us somehow. And like what I proposed last week is to do this kind of simple exercise. Okay, how do you feel now? It's called a stuck exercise. And what's the next move? When I was just looking at all these videos again, I realized it's so simple, but it's so important, because otherwise I'm still trying to get the answer up here, while the body never lies. And I would love to get something happening, but simply with all the stuff that I have on the table, I don't know. You know, maybe I should come for a weekend to you and just explore more. Maybe I don't know. I see this in the Dutch community. It's also, you know, I just try to get things happening, but it just doesn't work. And maybe this last thing I want to say about it, we would sense together that there's so much turbulence right now. So all we can do is just offer this kind of circle of, like, call it a trust circle, where people can just relax. And be brutally honest also in the feedback to the whole group.
I will explore this question also.
Yeah, great.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Vasco Gaspar has this program of DeepU, and is really experimenting with that, with how can we use different ways of knowing, of diving in our wisdom, and like Otto said, how do you tune with the future that wants to emerge through us? And Vasco is working a lot with social presence in theater, and is exploring with that. And it's one of the things that I'm really interested and supporter of Vasco work is about that. Is using other ways of knowing, using the wisdom of the heart, using the wisdom of the body, for really diving in this other realms of knowing. And in my case, in a way, I think that what you are living and what I'm living, has a systemic manifestation. Like you are living your particular way of a more systemic problem, a more systemic pattern. I don't think you are the only one that has that kind of perplexities. that is a perplexity in my perspective that is very common in the people that are really grounded in the modern culture. They are asking that question, really asking that question. What is my next move? This is not working. Where is my next move? And in my case, I also have that because I have a leg in modern culture and a leg in whatever is the next culture is. And I'm not finding, I didn't find yet a way of working with that. Because in the leg that I have in modern culture, I have bills to pay. I have the house and the children, food and all that stuff. And the leg that I have in the next culture, it's not easy to answer the question, where is the value? Where is the non-material value that is present here? And how can this really bring a flow of abundance for my life and for the life that the people I'm responsible for in this moment? And this struggle with how to pay the bills, how to navigate from modern culture to next cultures, it's really on my table. And in the next months, it's one of the things that I need to deal with. And I'm seeing that struggle all around in so many of us, because in this hedge, you don't have the money. The money is not in the hedge. The money is in the middle. And at the edge, of course, you don't need only money. You need community. You need another kind of resource. That how to bridge this, how to construct something that really supports the people that are on the edge, exploring new realms for all of us. And I'm living that. I have the perception that that is my real issue right now. If I find a way of solving that, of leading with my non-material value, and how the expression on my non-material value could bring abundance for myself, for the system, that figure out that is a way of really also figure out a pattern for the system, a pattern that will be useful for so many of us. I'm seeing people getting together as collectives or cooperatives or associations of professionals to do work together and to embrace this community thing, at the same time this living thing, like the movement in integral cooperatives. And something is there, for sure, something is there.
Can I say something about it?
Yeah, I will finish.
Yeah, you think, yeah.
For sure, something is there. That is my exploration right now. Is my exploration. I'm working with Gilles in this transition, how to support people and teams and organizations to do this transition, this cultural transition. And in a way, as I'm working with them, I also working with myself in that context. How can I continue transition myself in the different areas, in the different realms? And how can I, the opposite of attachment, how can I break the attachment of the system, of the patterns of the system, of the money thing, like we said in possibility management, the game world of money, that is like an addiction. It's a modern culture addiction, this game world of money. We need to work so many to have money to consume, and this is a cycle that it's an endless cycle. To break that cycle, yeah, that is where I am. It's my next move. It's really my next move. It's working with this, and it's the way I perceived it. It's connected with the system. Thank you, and go.
Yeah. Now, basically, what I realized is one great experience I had last year. I was just joining this ULab 2 program with a small project, and in the first 2 months, I noticed, got more and more in some kind of struggle, and then I mean, you mentioned social processing theater. We didn't even get there, but before that, I think that would be also a very great tool. Is that the 3D mapping? I could see, it was just, especially with one lady in the group, it was just very, very difficult. and then when we did this 3D mapping, the whole thing blew up and became very clear. And why? Because what turned out, the agenda that people had when joining the project was totally different, and it was not a match. And I didn't see that before. And I think that's what will be happening in many places. Sometimes we don't even know our own agenda. So that's I think very important. Another thing around the money issue, and who knows, maybe that can be one of my contributions. What I learned through experience when I came here, and Muji could just give words to it. He basically said, life takes care of life, and you are life, you're living your life, and it just worked somehow. I've heard it from many people coming there in a miraculous way. They just follow their calling, and it always worked out. And maybe then the only thing we need to do is to get each other, to support each other, to really stay on your unique path. If you feel this deep calling, then let's just see how from that little golden thread we can get the next step happening, and that will be a sustainable step for you also.
Thank you, Thierry. We have 9 minutes to close. My proposal for closing and like a checkout could be like a wrap up. Like we make questions to each other, we listen, we share, and we have this question for today dialogue. It's what is next for the innovation for the future. How do you wrap up this conversation? What is the golden nuts that came to the table? How do you perceive? What is the insights that came to you? What do you think about this proposal?
I just took out my socks and just be bare feet. I would just propose, let's just all summarize it. I think it's no coincidence that I get this thing in my throat. Let's summarize it, and basically, first step, just stand up and just embody what we all have been sharing together. Feel how that feels, and then after that, take the next step, and let that simply be our invitation to the circle for next week.
Okay, let's go.
So we can simply you know the practice.
Yes.
The stuck exercise. I can.
But please say for the people to know, to listen.
Yeah.
To also know.
Basically, it's very simple. It's not from any kind of talking space, but right here, right now, how are we feeling, and what kind of sculpture would we give it? Is it something like, oh, we did a great job, or you feel somehow restricted, or whatever comes up? And we hold that position for a little bit, that we can also give words to it and just sink deeper in also the feelings of that. And then afterwards, they just simply take a next step.
Let's go.
Okay. And then you just shake loose a little bit, and from there on, you find the next step. You go again in that space, and what's the next step? Okay. For me, if I can summarize it, there was still this underlying feeling of I felt a bit restricted, also just in my gut, and this is kind of old feeling, not feeling safe. And the second thing is people don't understand me anyway. And when I moved, the second step was I had to shake off this stuff. I started to burp, so some kind of old energies came out. And then I could stand in a space of trust and just really being here in the now, and not in some kind of past struggle.
Thank you, Thierry. For me, my position was very tense and needs energy to support, and that triggered my anger and fear. And it was uncomfortable to be in that position. And the next step was simply to let go of the tension and the body adjust themselves, just to let go of the tension in all the places, like at most at the same time. And that really changed the inner dynamics. Like sadness came, also some joy of not having tension, and a new fear appeared, like a new fear of, wow, what is possible now? Yeah, what comes to me. Thank you, Thierry, for this circle today. I will stop the recording.